A Good Girl's Guide to Murder Season 2 Episode 1. The Secret That Wouldn't Stay Buried. There are some mysteries that end when the truth is revealed. And then there are the ones that leave scars behind. For Pip Fitz-Amobi, the events of last year were supposed to be over. The case that had consumed her life, haunted her thoughts, and changed her forever had finally been solved. The lies had been exposed. The guilty had been revealed. Little Kilton had received its answers. At least, that's what everyone believed. But answers have a strange way of creating new questions. The season opens on a quieter version of Little Kilton. The town appears normal on the surface. People return to their routines. Students fill school hallways. Teachers continue their lessons. Families gather around dinner tables. Life moves on. Yet beneath that ordinary rhythm, something feels different. Perhaps it's because everyone remembers. Everyone remembers the headlines. Everyone remembers the accusations. Everyone remembers the secrets that came crawling into the light. No one feels that weight more than Pip. Once known as the bright and curious student who refused to accept easy answers, Pip now carries herself differently. The spark that once drove her into danger hasn't disappeared, but it has changed. She has seen what happens when people dig too deeply. She has watched lives fall apart. She has learned that the truth isn't always a victory. Sometimes it's a burden. Sometimes it's something you wish you'd never discovered. For the first time in a long time, Pip wants something simple. Normal school days. Normal conversations. A normal future. No investigations. No suspects. No mysteries. Just peace. And for a brief moment, it almost seems possible. Her relationship with Ravi remains one of the few steady things in her life. Around him, she can forget the pressure, forget the fear, forget the endless questions that always seem to follow her. Ravi understands her in a way few people can. After everything they've endured together, words often aren't necessary. A glance, a smile, a moment of silence. Sometimes that's enough. But peace in Little Kilton never lasts long. It begins with a rumor, a whisper passed between students, a conversation that suddenly stops when someone approaches, a person who hasn't been seen. At first, Pip ignores it. People disappear all the time, don't they? Someone misses a few calls. Someone skips school. Someone leaves town without telling anyone. It's probably nothing. At least, that's what she tells herself. But deep down, a familiar feeling begins to stir. The feeling she knows better than anyone. Curiosity. The kind of curiosity that refuses to let go. The kind that keeps you awake at night. The kind that whispers questions into your mind when you're trying to focus on something else. What happened? Why does nobody seem concerned? Why do certain people look nervous whenever the missing person's name is mentioned? And why does it feel like everyone knows something they aren't saying? Pip fights the urge to investigate. She really does. She reminds herself of everything she promised. She remembers the danger. She remembers the fear. She remembers how close she came to losing everything. Yet every new detail only makes the mystery harder to ignore. The more she tries to walk away, the more the unanswered questions follow her. Soon, little inconsistencies begin appearing. Small things. The kind of details most people would overlook. A timeline that doesn't quite fit. A witness who changes their story. A text message that raises more questions than answers. The pieces don't make sense. Not yet. But Pip has spent enough time solving mysteries to recognize the shape of one when she sees it. And this one is growing larger by the day. As she cautiously begins pulling at loose threads, the town around her starts to feel different. The streets she has walked her entire life suddenly seem full of secrets. Every familiar face becomes a possible suspect. Every conversation feels loaded with hidden meaning. Even ordinary moments carry an uncomfortable tension. Someone knows the truth. Someone is hiding something. The question is who? What makes the mystery especially compelling is that it doesn't simply revolve around a disappearance. It revolves around fear. The fear of consequences. the fear of what might happen if certain secrets become public. As Pip digs deeper, she discovers that the events of last season haven't disappeared. They've lingered. The fallout surrounding Max Hastings continues to cast a shadow across Little Kilton. Old wounds remain open. Old resentments continue to simmer. And some people are still struggling to cope with everything that happened. The town may have moved forward on the surface, but underneath, the damage remains. That emotional complexity gives the story far more depth than a typical mystery. This isn't merely about finding a missing person. It's about understanding a community still trying to recover from its own secrets. And Pip finds herself caught directly in the middle. What makes her journey fascinating is the internal battle she faces. The old Pip would have jumped into the investigation without hesitation. The new Pip hesitates. Every step forward comes with doubt. Every clue carries consequences. She knows that solving mysteries changes lives. She knows the truth can hurt people. She knows some doors cannot be closed once they're opened. Yet she also knows something else. If she doesn't investigate, nobody will. That realization becomes impossible to escape. Because while everyone else seems willing to look away, Pip can't. Not when someone could be in danger. Not when the story doesn't add up. Not when the answers are sitting just beneath the surface. The deeper she investigates, the more gripping the mystery becomes. Questions multiply. Suspects emerge. Trust becomes increasingly difficult. Even people who appear innocent begin behaving suspiciously. Every revelation leads to another twist. Every answer uncovers another layer. The town begins to feel like a giant puzzle with missing pieces scattered everywhere. And somewhere within that puzzle lies the truth. A truth that someone desperately wants hidden. Meanwhile, Ravi remains a vital presence throughout the story. Their relationship provides emotional warmth amid the growing darkness. Whenever Pip feels overwhelmed, Ravi offers stability. Whenever she starts questioning herself, he reminds her why she keeps fighting for the truth. Their chemistry remains one of the strongest aspects of the narrative because it feels genuine. They're not perfect. They're not dramatic for the sake of drama. They're simply two people trying to navigate impossible circumstances together. That authenticity makes their scenes especially meaningful. As the episode approaches its final moments, the tension becomes almost unbearable. The mystery expands. The stakes rise. The danger feels closer than ever. Pip begins realizing that this investigation may be far more complicated than she initially believed. The disappearance is only part of the story. There is something larger, hiding underneath. Something darker. Something connected to secrets people have spent a long time protecting. Then comes the final revelation. Not a complete answer. Not a dramatic confession. Just enough information to change everything. The kind of ending that leaves viewers staring at the screen, desperate for more. Suddenly, every clue feels significant. Every conversation gains new meaning. Every character becomes suspicious. And the mystery transforms from interesting to irresistible. By the time the credits roll, one thing becomes clear. Pip's peaceful life is over. Again, the questions have returned. The secrets are waiting. The truth is hidden somewhere within Little Kilton. And whether she wants to or not, Pip Fitz-Amobi is about to begin another journey into darkness. Because some mysteries refuse to stay buried. Some secrets fight to remain hidden. And some stories become impossible to stop reading once the first clue appears. Season 2 begins with exactly that kind of story. A gripping, emotional, suspense-filled mystery that pulls readers into its world and refuses to let go. The answers are out there. The clues have already been planted. The game has begun. And once you start following Pip down the rabbit hole, turning back is no longer an option.